First thing you need to do is create a new story map or open an existing story map. And then you need to add the express map. So over here you'll see the plus signs. So you click on it, under media, select map. And this will list all of the maps in your AGOL account, but what we want is an express map, so you'll click on this new express map button. So this opens up a map, and the first thing you can do is change the base map. There are a lot of options. You can get imagery, this kind of classic political map. There's a lot of options. It really depends on, the style of your story map, the data you want to show. I'm going to stick with the Human Geography Lite, just because I don't want the base map to be distracting. So we'll keep that the same. And now we'll add some features. So the first thing I want to show is how to add a polygon. So let's say I want to show and explore some hazards and events on the west coast of the United States. So the first thing I want to do is outline that area. So I will start drawing kind of a rough outline of the west coast of the US. My purpose for this express map is just to show some general information. I'm not really going for precision here, especially because I plan to turn off map navigation, so the viewer of the story map won't be able to zoom in and pan around. They can just see the features as I've drawn them. So there we have this polygon that's outlining the US West Coast, and I'll give it a name. You can give it a description. And you can change the style. So you can change the color. Let's make it a nice green, and done. So there we have our polygon. If you hover over it, it'll give you the name, and then if you click that, you can get the description that I added. So now let's add a point showing a specific coastal event. So in 2017, there was a big landslide that happened near Big Sur, California, which is down here. So I'll go up here and add a point, and I'm not being very precise with the location just because I plan to have the map zoomed out and the viewer won't be able to pan or zoom in the map. So I'm not very concerned about pinpointing the exact location. For your purposes, you might be, so just be aware of that. So I'll give it a name, Big Sur Landslide 2017. And you can add images. So I have this picture of that landslide that I want to add. And I like the style of this point. I don't want to change the size. I like the color, so I'll keep it. So now it adds to our drawn features list. And if you zoom out, you can see the point here. And we have Big Sur landslide and the image. So that's a bit about adding a polygon and a point with an image. Now let's add some text and other kinds of points and lines. So the general theme of this tutorial for the rest of it, for the other parts, will be malaria and climate change. So in this express map, maybe I want to show the countries that have the most deaths from malaria worldwide. And I know that there are 4 countries that make up over half of the global deaths from malaria. They're Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Tanzania, and Mozambique. So we'll add some numbered points. So we'll start with Nigeria, which is here. And you can see it adds the number 1 in that point. And I will name it Nigeria. Let's make it red. And done. And now I'll add another numbered point and add it to the DRC. And the nice thing about these numbered points is that it automatically increments the number. Democratic Republic of the Congo. And I will change the color again. The third country was Tanzania. Change the color. And the fourth is Mozambique. Great, so now I have our 4 points, which are showing the 4 countries that account for that have the most malaria deaths globally. So if you hover over it, you see the country name, which I added. Now let's add an arrow so we can add annotations to the map that will tell us information about these points. So there's our arrow. Don't really like where that went. The arrows do bend like that. It's kind of fun. You can change where they go, but we'll leave it like that. And now I want to add an annotation. So I want this to tell us the percentage of global malaria deaths. And for Nigeria, it is 31.9%. And you can change the style of the annotation. I want it to have no background, like that. And you can drag it to where you want it to go. So I could add annotations for all of those points. And when you zoom out, the text will stay the same size, so you kind of have to be aware of where you're placing it. So I want it to be about there, because this is about the scale that I want the map to be. So that looks good, and I will go to settings or options and turn off allow map navigation. So when I add this express map to the story map, the viewer of the story map won't be able to pan and zoom, because I just want it to be a snapshot of this. There's no need for the viewer to zoom in or pan around. So if I hit done, the express map is added to my story map. You can change the configuration of it. I'll leave it like this. And now you can see I can't pan and I can't zoom on the actual map. But if I hover over it, I can still see the points and the images and the information like this. So express maps are great for showing basic information, maybe a snapshot of your area of interest. Pretty quick to make. They're useful for basic data, but make sure that you're not trying to do all of your GIS analysis in an express map, because the functionality of an AGOL map will allow you to do a lot more and actually use spatial data. So use express maps for things like this, simple snapshots, basic information about your topic or your area of interest.